is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Is in New York, hanging out with the family. Gonna do a little game action. How is the family, Joe? How was the hangout with the family?
Everyone's doing well, Big O. Thanks for asking. It was a great time last night. We had a little early Christmas.
That is good, man. That is absolutely awesome to have a little family time. By the way, when are they going to punk out and move down to South Florida like every other New Yorker does? Come on, let's go. We know we're the sixth borough. When are they giving in and saying enough with the cold, Joe? When's that going to happen?
My parents think that it's too hot, so they're not coming.
So they're not moving. Okay. Do they live in the city or do they live in the suburbs?
Long Island. I grew up in Queens.
Okay.
I grew up in Queens, but when I was like 18 or so, we moved out to the suburbs.
Okay. All right. I have cousins in Deer Park. Okay.
My uncle has a restaurant in Deer Park. I guarantee you at least one of the people watching right now has a connection to Deer Park, Long Island. That's what it's like.
Well,
with
dude,
South Florida and New York.
I want to say it was like 79, maybe 80. I don't know. I go there and I see this thing called cable. And I was like, oh my God. You know what I mean? We got it in Hialeah, actually, because my dad lived in Hialeah. Hialeah had cable before everybody else in South Florida.
Illegal, I'm sure.
No. Legal.
Okay.
Cable was legal in Hialeah before it was in Miami. Anywhere in, I think it was first in Dade County, was in Hialeah pretty much. It was like weird. But anyway, even years before that, I had seen it in New York, and I saw it in Deer Park, Rhode Island. It was my cousins in Passaic. Long Island. My cousins in Passaic didn't have it. My cousins in Monticello didn't have it. But my cousins in Deer Park had it. You know what I mean? And so when we walked, I was like, oh my God, you have all these channels, and it was just absolutely amazing, man.
We couldn't afford cable, so I used to listen to the Knicks and Rangers games on my radio headset underneath the covers. My parents would tell me to go to sleep.
Right. Yeah, that's classic, man. That is awesome. Joe, what's for you? What kicked in for this defense the last 2 weeks? Why is it that we're seeing the defense we saw parts of it at the end of the first season, and then obviously all throughout the second season?
Just a return to the aggressive attacking nature. I think Byron Jones and Xavier Howard are feeling a little better physically. That allows the Dolphins to leave them on an island and use Brandon Jones and Javon Holland in a blitzing role. They've been able to really take advantage of Tyrod Taylor and Lamar Jackson. I think part of the reason the Jets are starting Joe Flacco today is that they think he'll limit sacks, limit turnovers. But I don't know. It's a close call between Zach Wilson and Joe Flacco about who's more prone to turn the ball over 4 times.
Yeah, or Mike White, obviously, because he had but I mean, the poor kid played against Buffalo. You know what I mean? It's just everybody plays crappy again. Omar had that with the whole thing. Well, Tua didn't play well against Buffalo, and then I read him all the stats of everybody that plays against Buffalo, and everybody struggles against Buffalo. It doesn't matter if you're Pat Mahomes or if you're Mike White or if you're Tua. So I think it's kind of unfair for the kid, although I would like Mike White to start, because I would rather have a youngin facing that defense and getting confused and forcing him into mistakes. But it sounds like you kind of disagree with that whole thing, that with Flacco it'll be less mistakes. And I kind of feel the same way. I don't know if you do feel that way, but I'm kind of, at least that's kind of the body language I read from you. As slow and as stiff as he is back there, I think he's going to be prone to make mistakes if the Dolphins are blitzing him and attacking him from all kinds of angles.
Yeah, I mean, I said to Jerome Baker this week, have you faced Joe Flacco? And the guy next to me is like, yeah, they dominated him last year, maybe even shut him out.
Yeah.
So it's not like Flacco has had a ton of success against the Dolphins. I mean, look, as bad as the Dolphins have been, the Jets have been worse. And this is obviously a must-win situation. It's a game we believe the Dolphins will win, a game the Dolphins should win, a game the Dolphins expect to win. There's no reason they can't get on a little roll here, and they had a little extra time to rest. Tua's finger looked totally fine in practice last week. His ribs are feeling a little better, if not great. So, no excuses. Let's see an improved offensive performance today.
Duke Johnson got elevated from the practice squad. I read a note that Alan Poupart wrote that said he feels that means they may be passing more to the backs. And we did see earlier in the season when they used Gaskins a lot. What did he catch? Like 10 passes in one game or something ridiculous like that. Can you see some of that going on in the swirling winds of the Meadowlands?
Yeah, I mean, you would think that the Dolphins didn't activate Duke Johnson not to play him, and you haven't seen a lot of Savon Ahmed. You've seen almost as much Patrick Laird. So, when the Dolphins signed Duke Johnson, they probably said, listen, learn the playbook. I'm going to give you a chance to play. So this is apparently his chance to play. Myles Gaskin, I think he's fine as an NFL running back. I just don't think that, he's the answer as the long-term number one running back, and neither is Duke Johnson for that matter. But the Dolphins at least believe that Duke Johnson, has something left in his legs. And let's see it. It's interesting to get some fresh blood in there because the Dolphins running game has been so poor, worse than the NFL. And it's not just on the running backs, but I kind of thought maybe Jared Dokes. But, I'm okay with giving Duke Johnson a shot. And, I'd like to see Hunter Long in there at some point here. We'll see.
Something that Flo has kind of, he has shown his cards in the first couple of years. If you're young and he doesn't trust you yet, he doesn't put you out there. And if he does put you out there, you're going to have a very short leash and he's going to pull you in a way. And maybe that's where we're at right now with Dokes. And maybe that's why Duke is getting elevated, because he's a veteran, been there, done it, all that kind of stuff. So they kind of feel that they can count on him a little bit more. Maybe Jared Dokes isn't, consistent enough in picking up the blitz or something along those lines. And the last thing you want is to get Tua injured again.
Yeah, I remember during the preseason, the Dolphins coaches were saying that they thought that Jared Dokes could be even tougher. And I'm like, wow, this guy's bread and butter was supposed to be toughness. So if you're not, tough and physical and maybe a little because of apprehension about not knowing exactly what you're supposed to do, that could certainly play a factor.
Keys for you in this game? If we had, I know that it's hard to play the X's and O's game with inconsistent teams, but there's been some consistency here in the last couple of weeks. So from what you've seen from this Dolphin team, what are the keys for you?
Turnovers. As long as the Dolphins don't have two more turnovers than the Jets, they win today. The only chance the Jets have is if Duke Johnson, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, these guys, Adam Shaheen, if these guys, for some reason, Myles Gaskin cough the ball up, or if Tua makes a couple of really poor decisions, and we're coming out of this game saying, man, this is just further evidence that Tua is not the man. That's a disaster scenario for the Dolphins, as long as they avoid that, because I think they're going to create at least one or two turnovers today against the Jets. I think they're fine.
So you were terrible the last time we asked you this. Receiving yards, props this week. By the way, the line is up to 4 now. Money's coming in on the Dolphins. It went from 3.5 to 4. Jalen Waddle over and under 60.5 yards.
That's a close one. I mean, that's the right spot. Obviously Waddle is among the league leaders in catches, but shockingly, he's had only 3 catches beyond 20 yards, and none of his 3 touchdowns have been for further than 6 yards. So I don't know when it's going to happen. I keep predicting it's going to happen because Waddle's the kind of player that can get that on one catch. So I would go over, because I will continue to believe that at some point Waddle is going to take a slant and go 69 yards. So I will predict that happens today.
The one I do like, over and under Mike Gesicki, and I like the over, 52.5 yards. The Jets secondary is terrible. Their safeties are horrible. I can see Gesicki having a field day in this game. What do you think?
I don't have the best connection here in the MetLife parking lot, so I didn't hear exactly what you said.
52 and a half.
In case I
52 and a half over and under Gesicki.
I'd go over on Gesicki because he had 0 catches last week, and I think the Dolphins are going to try to get him involved.
Okay. Tua Tagovailoa, over under 253.5 yards.
I wouldn't touch that one. It's too dicey either way. I mean, between 240 and 260 is where he's probably going to be.
All right. Joe Flacco, over and under 228.5 yards. I like the under on that one.
Which guy?
Flacco, 228.5 over and under. Oh, we dropped him. We lost him. We got to get him back here to wrap it up. I kind of like the under on the Flacco one, right? 228.5. I think they're gonna go after him big time. All right, I think we got Joe back. Joe, what do you think about Joe Flacco? 228.5 over and under. I like the under.
My concern with that is Flacco picking up some soft yardage in the fourth quarter with the Jets trailing, 23-8 or something. I think the Dolphins do cover today, though, so I really like the Dolphins to cover. I wouldn't touch the passing yardage because I think you can be on the bad end of a bad bet in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and I don't think he'll be in the fourth quarter. I think they're going to thoroughly embarrass him, and they'll bring in Mike White, and then they'll embarrass him too in the process. I think that's what's going to end up happening. You got the boys winning today?
Yeah, Dolphins to win, Dolphins to cover. I don't think this one is in question at any point from the opening kick. I think it's Dolphins winning their third straight, Dolphins moving to 4-7, Dolphins creating hope that somehow this team might find a way to claw back to 7-7.
Are you seeing any improvement in your eyes on the offense now with Tua back?
I mean, the offense is better with Tua than it is with Jacoby Brissett. Anybody who questioned that has been disproven at this point. Look, I mean, let's see it. Let's see the deeper passes. Let's see the leadership. Let's see him playing through pain and discomfort. Let's see it. I'm excited to see it. I wish we were getting to see Zach Wilson today, but I'm glad that we are at least getting to see Tua. It makes things a little bit interesting.
Follow him on Twitter at Schad Joe. Catch his work at the Palm Beach Post. And, of course, you can catch him twice a week here with the American Dream Lending Miami Dolphins Weekly Insider Report. Joe, as always, thank you, my brother. Enjoy the game, and I'm glad you enjoyed the family too, my man.
Thanks, buddy. Good to see you. All right.
You got it. There you go. Love it. Joe Schad. Good stuff as always. I like it.
This is the Big O Show.